Robert De Niro, Barry Levinson, and Nicholas Pileggi. Just reading those names makes any mob movie fan sit up straight. So when they announced the Alto Knights this year with De Niro playing not one, but two legendary mob bosses, everyone thought we were about to witness gangster glory reborn. But then it hit theaters and things didn't exactly go according to plan. Critics called it sluggish, gimmicky, and dare we say, outdated. Audiences were split, and the box office? Let's just say it didn't exactly make mob history. Even the marketing felt quiet, with just a few moody trailers showing De Niro in shadowy suits and smoky clubs, hinting at a grand return to old-school gangster cinema. It looked like prestige, but it played like nostalgia. So the big question is the mob movie dead in 2025? Or did the Alto Knights just get it wrong? Today, we're diving into the chaos, the craftsmanship, and yes, the double De Niro experiment, to find out what went wrong, what went right, and whether this film deserves another look.
Okay, as soon as you're ready.
I don't believe this. All right. What did you do?
The Alto Knights was directed by Barry Levinson, the Academy Award-winning director of Rain Man and Bugsy. He's known for his ability to blend drama, nostalgia, and character-driven storytelling. The screenplay was written by Nicholas Pileggi, the same genius behind Goodfellas and Casino. That, on paper, screamed gangster gold. But the production wasn't smooth. Originally conceived years earlier, the film faced delays due to scheduling conflicts, studio hesitations, and creative debates over casting and structure. By the time it finally hit theaters, the mob genre itself had shifted. The Netflix generation had moved on to anti-heroes and crime series, and a cinematic mob epic felt, well, retro. But here's a fun fact. The project was actually rumored to have started development in the late 2010s under a different title, with Scorsese even briefly attached as a producer before stepping away. De Niro reportedly stayed loyal to Levinson, believing the director understood the emotional decay behind mob power better than anyone else. And the boldest move? Casting De Niro in both Frank Costello and Vito Genovese. Costello, the suave, cunning underboss, and Genovese, the ambitious, ruthless rival. Some called it gimmicky. Others hailed it as a showcase of De Niro's unmatched versatility. And the preparation had De Niro reportedly spending months studying actual archival footage, old interviews, and FBI files, perfecting subtle differences in posture, speech, and gesture for each character. Levinson leaned heavily on visual parallels like mirroring shots of both men smoking in silence, staring out the same window, suggesting their ambitions are two sides of the same coin. He leaned into slow, reflective storytelling like The Irishman. Classic Levinson pacing, slow, contemplative, often focusing on the quiet moments of tension between men who are slowly losing control over their empire. Some viewers loved it, others, well, they yawned.
Taking the fifth! Take the fifth! What's the matter with you? Front you!
Part 2. Reception and public reaction. So what's the story? At its core, the Alto Knights explores the deadly rivalry between Frank Costello and Vito Genovese, two titans of New York's mafia. The film shows their rise, their strategies, and their ultimate struggle for dominance, a struggle that reshaped organized crime in America. But beyond the crime saga, it also shows power, loyalty, betrayal, and aging out of relevance. Both Costello and Genovese face the harsh reality that the world is changing, and their past influence can't protect them forever. The film asks, what happens when control is an illusion and power is fleeting? One haunting sequence showed Costello walking through an empty nightclub that once had life, and it captures that loss perfectly. The jazz fades and the lights dim, and De Niro's silence says more than any dialogue could. Levinson's narrative style emphasizes these themes. Long, contemplative, takes allow the audience to sit with the character, to feel the weight of decisions, mistakes, and betrayals. But while some viewers appreciate this depth, others found it slow, lacking the energy of classics like Goodfellas or Casino. Social media reactions echoed the divide. Half the posts praised its cinematic poetry, while the other half joked about the Sleepish Man 2.0. The conversation around it became almost as interesting as the film itself. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. De Niro in two roles, playing both Costello and Genovese. It was a massive challenge, and on paper it promised cinematic fireworks. But execution is everything. Critics argued that the dual casting created confusion and pulled viewers out of the story. Some audience members even joked that De Niro was talking to himself in every scene. Yet others saw brilliance in the subtle differences in speech, facial expressions, and physicality, made it clear that he wasn't just doubling up for shock value. It was a study in contrast, charisma versus cunning, restraint versus aggression. Interestingly, the dual role also served a narrative purpose.
Nobody wants to get pinched, but that's the risk you take.
It emphasized the thin line between rivals in organized crime, showing how ambition and greed can mirror each other, even across opposing sides of a conflict.
How do you know what he's gonna do?
Now let's talk numbers. Critics were largely unimpressed. Rotten Tomatoes sits at 27%, Metacritic at 44 out of 100. Audience reviews were also pretty mixed, and they were averaging around a 6 out of 10. Box office was under $20 million domestically. Not catastrophic, but certainly underwhelming for the De Niro-led prestige film. Fans and critics alike compared it to Goodfellas, Casino, and The Irishman, and by those standards, the Alto Knights struggled to find its place. The release timing didn't help either, as it premiered just a week after Dune Part 2, which completely dominated theaters and screens. Many moviegoers who might have gone for nostalgia ended up saving their money for the sci-fi spectacle instead. Warner Bros. Took a personal gamble here. CEO David Zaslav was heavily involved, trying to reestablish a footprint in prestige cinema after shelving high-profile projects like Batgirl. The gamble didn't fully pay off. Still, it showed that Warner Bros. Hasn't given up on bold, character-driven cinema.
You're going down a very dangerous road. And we ain't been down dangerous roads before.
So, what does the Alto Knights mean for the mob genre in 2025? Is it truly dead or just evolving? The film's response suggests the genre is struggling to adapt to modern audiences. Long reflective epics may not resonate in an age of bingeable series and fast-paced crime dramas. Yet for cinephiles and longtime fans, the movie has a certain charm. The historical detail, the craft of acting, and the sheer ambition of attempting a dual De Niro performance. Ultimately, the Alto Knights may not be remembered as a classic, but it's a fascinating case study in ambition, risk, and nostalgia. An artifact that asks us whether certain genres can survive unchanged in a new era of filmmaking. So what do you think? Was the Alto Knights a bold experiment in gangster cinema, or a Hollywood flop trying too hard? Could the mob genre make a comeback, or is it destined to remain nostalgic? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the films that shape and shake cinema history.